You see, the fact that Kenny even admits that he's somebody that puts other people first tells me that he's somebody that 100%, whenever he has a thought process, his thought process isn't about what's best for him. His thought process is what's best for the other person.
When Kenny are friends, did you give them any advice on the baby decision?
Actually, I did not.
Yes, he did.
Well,
he told him, don't do it.
Messaged me and he said, because I can tell in your eyes you don't want to do it.
For Armando is so big. He's gonna dedicate the rest of his life to that child, and I feel like he's doing it more for Armando than himself. And especially hearing this about the possibility of twins, like that's even scarier to me.
Kenny and Armando, two people that I really didn't cover throughout the season because there wasn't really much to give because their relationship felt quite solid. You know, I mean, even when they got to the point of where they decided, yes, we're going to try and actually have more kids, or a kid of our own, shall I say, you know, and go through the whole surrogacy process. But to be fair, though, it was definitely evident throughout the season that Kenny was holding back a lot. Holding back a whole lot throughout the season, and it was more Armando that really wanted another child and not necessarily Kenny. And of course, Kenny made it abundantly clear because of his age, he doesn't necessarily want to have a child now because, you know, generally speaking, he's somebody that has raised kids before and somebody that has done a great job of being a father, and he knows how dedicated and passionate he is when he does become a parent. And of course, he also knows how much that takes away from his life as well. And because he's at the age where he's just trying to enjoy his life, you know, and just trying to wind down the rest of the years, just have as much fun as possible, it makes sense to why he doesn't want to have kids now. So of course, for Tim to come out and say, listen, I don't think it's a good idea, and also I can see in your eyes that you don't want it, even though that now Kenny's in a position where he feels like, yes, he's ready to have another child or more, it is still a matter of fact is, or how much more of Kenny's life does he want to dedicate to being a parent? I mean, listen, once you have children anyway, you're a parent for the rest of your life without a shadow of a doubt. But once your children get older and they move out, that's when you get time to yourself, and you know, you can do anything and everything that you can do without restrictions of being a parent. Now, of course, Armando is looking to basically take away that privilege away from Kenny. You know, not in a malicious way, but of course, that is why I agree with him. You know, end of the day, that this whole situation that's going down, Kenny is not doing it for himself. He's doing it for Armando. Even if Kenny says that he's now in a position where he wants to do it for himself, no, that's a lie. You are just persuading yourself to do this because you love Armando that much. You just don't want to lose him. So therefore, you have now manipulated yourself to believe that, you know what, I can do this again because I've done it before. And to be fair, I will have no issues doing it because at least I'm doing it with somebody that I love and somebody that keeps me on my toes. Which, listen, fair enough. But again, though, I still think that if you're doing it majority for your partner and not necessarily for yourself, I don't think that's a good idea, especially if twins may even be an option. Triplets may even be an option as well. But hey, man, each is of their own.
But I always just go for it because I don't look at having regrets on something or what if. I am kind of a selfish person. I like to put others first. I put my kids first. I put my family first. I do that.
You see, the fact that Kenny even admits that he's somebody that puts other people first tells me that he's somebody that 100%, whenever he has a thought process, his thought process isn't about what's best for him. His thought process is what's best for the other person, and his thought process is what's best for the relationship. So therefore, he's completely neglecting what is actually best for him and what he wants. So for me personally, like I said before, he's put himself in a position where he's convinced himself that, hey, this is going to be okay. And don't get me wrong, it will be okay, but he has sidelined himself. And that's not a nice thing to do, especially when you get to a certain age in life. You know, I feel like, you know, once we get to a certain age or stage in our life, you know, it's important for us just to prioritize ourselves and to just want to have fun with our lives, you know, and not necessarily have this, I don't want to say this word, but it's the only word I can think of, but not have this burden of always being a parent for the rest of your life and feeling like as if you would never have time to actually breathe, feeling like as if you're always going to have restrictions to what you can and cannot do because of your parental responsibilities. But hey, man, if Kenny feels like this is what he wants to do because he does want to lose Armando, then I guess some people doing what you're going to do for love is worth it. And you know what? Do you, bro?
You know, when you start out a relationship, he let me take the lead, but then he's become much more vocal in what he wants. He tells you how he feels.
It was always sort of his way. Told him, I want to be submissive. But it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, he told me that. I like, you know, for you to take control. He led me to believe that.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like, you know, a lot of the times when people go into a relationship, people go in a relationship with their own agenda or their own perspective of how they want things to go, you know. They go into thinking, you know, I want to be the submissive one. I want to be the one that's relaxed and sit back and the one that gets told pretty much what we're doing, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And some people go into relationships with the idea of, listen, I want to be in charge. I want to make sure that this is on point and that is on point. But here's the thing, though, and this is the beauty of relationships. Sometimes in relationships, once you start to really open yourself up to somebody, once you start to actually learn about each other, you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I actually want it to be more balanced. Actually, you know what? I actually do want to have a bit more initiative. Actually, you know what? I do want to put in a bit more effort and say this and that. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it can be a bad thing if it's done in the wrong way. It seems to me when it comes to Ken and Armando, at this one in time, it doesn't seem to have been done in the wrong way because clearly they're still going and they're still in a healthy relationship, which is good. But I will say this though, sometimes in life though, be careful because if you come into a relationship with a certain perspective of being submissive and then boom, out of nowhere, you start becoming bossy and all that kind of stuff, sometimes that can go completely south because remember this, around the first early stages, let's just call it the lust phase. The lust phase of getting to know each other is a phase where you are setting the boundaries of, okay, who's in charge, who's not in charge. Once that changes after the lust phase, it can cause problems. That's why I always say it's very important to always be yourself from the very beginning to all the way, hopefully, until the never end. You know what I mean? Because realistically, we shouldn't be getting into things with the idea that they're going to end. So present yourself as who you are from the very get-go. You know what I mean? Let that be the phase because that's who you are. You know what I mean? And therefore therefore when you get to know each other, you're actually getting to know each other for each other, not for whoever you're not. You know what I mean?
Sure, nothing has gone down in New York when you're there with him.
Oh my God. This is part I was going to bring this up.
Wait a minute, what?
We're friends and he'll like message or say, hey, daddy, what's up? And then he's not. But he is comfortable in his own skin to play around like that and stuff. So he'll just say it in a joking way and he knows it. He's not bothered by it either. Yeah, but no, we're just like really, we're tight. We just get along. We have a good time. With us, it just banged.
Even though this isn't a part of their relationship necessarily, I guess obviously people are always alluding that Tim may just be gay. Well, look at it this way. They've decided to address it, obviously have fun with it, laugh about it. You know what, man? I like the way they've gone about it. They've gone about it in a very fun way, very, just like, listen, we are friends. Yes, of course, I'm gay, he's straight, but legit, like, we can be friends regardless, you know what I mean? And of course, everybody knows Kenny is in love with freaking Armando, you know what I mean? Kenny would never do anything wrong to Armando, or at least that's what they presented to us anyway. You never say never because this world is very interesting. People can show you a certain part, but it doesn't mean that they are that part. What happens outside isn't exactly the same what happens behind closed doors. But either way, though, I like the way they addressed it, you know what I mean? And I guess the rumors or the speculation of Tim being gay can now be shut down. But let's be real, this is the internet. They'll never be shut down, to be honest with you. People will probably find a way to twist the words that happen in this little scene. But either way, though, it's nice to see that they were both able to address it in just a fun, outgoing way rather than in a serious, intense, aggressive way, you know what I mean? Like in a defensive way. I like the way that this was addressed more of like in a fun, hey, not like, no guys, you're just getting on my nerves, because that never looks good. Never looks good. But anyway, with that being said though, thank you so much for your time and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.